Kentucky Senator Rand Paul tells One American News why he will continue to oppose the House bill to force a sale or ban of TikTok. One America's John Hines has more from Capitol Hill.
Sir, big news from the House. Of course, TikTok is passed overwhelming majority. Interesting because this would basically either force a sale or a ban of TikTok. Some conflicting opinions, I guess. I think Mike Gallagher, who is a Wisconsin Republican, one of the co-sponsors, says the Chinese Communist Party does not have a First Amendment right to conduct malign influence operations in the United States. We need to cut out the Chinese Communist Party tumor from TikTok. Meanwhile, Marjorie Taylor Greene, a member of Congress from Georgia, says, as the only member of Congress who has ever been banned from social media, I oppose today's TikTok ban bill. This bill would open a Pandora's box and create a slippery slope for future government censorship of Americans and our precious First Amendment right. Lot to unpack there, sir. What do you make of all that?
Well, you know, I'm no fan of the communist government of China. I've been railing against it for 3 years because I think the virus originated in Wuhan and we helped to fund it. But at the same time, I am a fan of the First Amendment to the Constitution, the Fifth Amendment to the Constitution, and the whole concept that you're innocent until proven guilty. The people that are saying, oh, the Chinese government controls TikTok. Well, that's an accusation. It'd be like saying you did something and we're just going to put you in jail because you're associated with the Chinese government. It's like, you can't do that. You make an accusation, and really there's dangers to making false accusations. You can be sued for falsely accusing people of things. And so they've been going on and on. I was on another network this morning, and they were like, the TikTok's owned by the Chinese government. And I made the point, well, absolutely, actually they're not. They're owned by international investors. They're owned by the Chinese software developers, own about 20% of it, and then about 20% by their employees. And 7,000 of the employees are American. So there's Americans throughout this whole process, and they have to have their day in court. Not only that, the 180 million American teenagers primarily that use this form of expression, they also will get their day in court too. You can't just take away their right to express themselves. We're actually going to be punishing not even TikTok. We're going to punish Apple and Google or whoever has these app stores. That's who they're going to punish. They're going to say TikTok has to come off of the App Store. And actually, fine won't actually go to TikTok. I think the fine actually goes to Apple. So the hope is at some point Apple will wake up and say, wow, this is restricting our store. We can't have the government telling us what we can sell in our store. But federal judges already looked at this in Montana and struck it down. Federal courts looked at this under Trump when Trump tried to ban it twice. And those were struck down. So I think there's a very good chance that this is unconstitutional. I will continue to oppose it because kind of like what one of the statements you read, I've been banned also. I've been censored. You know, YouTube kicked me off, but I'm not for, saying YouTube can't continue to exist or for breaking them up or for telling them they have to host me on YouTube. I think it's, basically a private business. If I don't like them, I won't use them.
Well, of course, I think the intelligence community has raised some questions about TikTok, correct? What is the nature of that?
Those are allegations, and someone would have to prove them. They keep saying they're controlled by the Chinese Communist government. But frankly, that's not the way the ownership works. ByteDance owns TikTok. ByteDance is a company that's actually incorporated in the Caribbean. It's 60% international investors, 20% the two Chinese developers, and 20% their employees, which includes 7,000 Americans. So it really isn't controlled by the Chinese government. Where they get confused is ByteDance owns TikTok, but they also own a company in China that's like TikTok. China actually bans TikTok because it's too much expression and too much freedom for the Chinese. So there's a Chinese version called Douyin. The Chinese have weaseled their way onto that board because they say you can't operate in China unless the government gets a seat on the board. So the government has one seat on the board of the Chinese version of TikTok, but they have no seats on the board of ByteDance or of TikTok. It's a private company, and anything else is an accusation. Most of the accusation, if you look closely, they're like, someday the Chinese government could ask them for information. Well, yeah, we don't like the Chinese government's authoritarian rule, and we don't like that they can do that. But also, in our country, we have a lot of these social media companies scraping our data. You think Facebook isn't scraping all of our data and they're doing it to make a profit? Guess what? So's TikTok, scraping the data, trying to encourage people to use TikTok because that's how they make money.
Senator Rand Paul, thank you very much for talking to us.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you.
For all our our viewers asking where One America News is heading in the future, we would like to introduce you to OAN Live. OAN Live is the best way to stay up to date on all of the hard-hitting, straight-shooting, national and international headlines. And the best part is, OAN Live is only $4.99 per month. All the credible, honest, unbiased reporting One America News offers at a fraction of the cost of cable. Just go to OANN.com to easily sign up for OAN Live and stay informed.